All right. So I have a friend we'll call Jenny, and Jenny's grandmother had to go live with her parents. As she got older, she couldn't take care of herself, but she wasn't bad enough to be in a nursing home. And so she moved in with Jenny's parents, and they had a little kind of off to the side of their house. They had a room and a full bathroom, and that was kind of her little suite. But Jenny's parents are busy people, and so while they took care of her and stuff, a lot of times Grandma had to just hang out by herself in this house, and she loved the sound of music. Jenny said she watched that movie almost every day. She loved the sound of music, and Jenny would be like, I don't want to be like my grandma, living in the side of someone's house with no one. She didn't really have many friends come visiting her. The other family didn't really come to visit her very often, and Jenny's like, oh my gosh, what if I'm like my grandma? But I don't have family. At the time, when Jenny was really worried about this, she was not married, she didn't have any kids. And she's like, what am I going to do if I don't have kids? Who's going to take care of me? What am I going to do as I get older and I don't have anyone to watch over me? And she's like, am I going to be like my grandma? Just living in a nursing home. I'll have to be in a nursing home if I need help because I'm not going to have anybody to watch over me. Watching the sound of music every day. That sounds terrible. And Jenny's now married, but she still doesn't have kids, and it's not looking like she'll probably have kids. And she's like, so what's going to happen to me when I get older? And as a single person who's 51 with no kids, I get that. I similarly have that fear that Jenny has, that someday I'll be all alone. And I won't have anyone to take care of me or watch over me. We were talking at Alpha a couple weeks ago. Cindy's son-in-law, Eric, is a EMT fireman, and so he gets well check calls. When someone calls and says, hey, we haven't seen such and such in so many days, he's the one that goes to see if they're there and if they're okay. And he has found people who are not okay on multiple occasions. And they were jokingly saying he'll call Cindy and be like, he did. But I'm like, who will be around to call an Eric and say, hey, will you go check on Stephanie? How long will it take them to find me? I've often thought this. If I die in my home, how long will it take somebody to figure it out? Or if I fall, if I'm on a ladder, I always think, oh my gosh, if I fall off this ladder, how long will it take someone to realize that I didn't show up? And someone to call Eric to come check on me. And so for many of us who don't have kids, I call us orphans. I mean, we have family, but for many of us who don't have kids, this is a real fear that we have. Who will take care of us? Who will watch over us? Who will make sure that we have something? Who will take us into their home if we need just a little bit of care, but not enough to go to a nursing home? What happens in that situation? And it's a scary thought to have, that as you get older, there's not going to be anyone to watch over you. And it's a very real fear for many of us in this room, myself included. So what do we do with that? How do we handle that feeling and that fear when that comes on us? And I think about this problem has been around all of eternity. It was in the Bible. In fact, Jesus, one of the very last things that Jesus did when he was on the cross, one of the very last things Jesus said before he died was to make sure that someone was going to take care of his mama. So there's this verse in John 19. Jesus is on the cross, and he's about to die, and this is what he says. It's in your bulletin if you'd like to follow along. Now there stood by the cross Jesus' mother, his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and disciple whom he loved, that's John, standing by, he said to his mother, woman, behold your son. Then he said to the disciple, behold your mother. And from that hour the disciple took her to his own home. Jesus basically said, John, I need you to be my mama's son now. Mom, I need you to make John your son. And all the other disciples, of all 12 disciples, John's the only one that lived a full life. All the other 11 died pretty terribly. They were martyred. They died at various stages. Stephen was the first to die. He was the youngest. Many of them did have ministry before they died, but all the rest of Jesus' disciples died prematurely except for John. And I believe in my heart that the reason that God let John live so long is because he was given the assignment of watching Mary, of taking care of Mary for the rest of Mary's life. And I think I take comfort in that, because to me, that says that God cares enough about me. If Jesus will take care of his mom in this way, then that tells me that I believe that God will take care of me similarly. That God will find a way for someone to watch over me in the way that John watched over Mary. You know, we get worried about things. We allow these thoughts. When you have these, my friend calls it the sound of music fear. When you have the sound of music fear, it can take over your life. You could be laying in bed and just spiral into, oh my gosh, like I'm going to die alone, just watching the sound of music every day for the rest of my life, and no one's going to care about me, and no one loves me, and it can cause an almost like panic attack sometimes, feeling like what's going to happen to me. But Jesus addresses this multiple times. I put this verse in, and then my verse of the day on my Bible app was another one, which is that one that the sparrow song comes from. Don't worry, if God takes care of the sparrows, surely he's going to take care of you. But the one that I often go to, because it's like one of my all-time favorite verses, is Philippians 4. Don't be pulled in different directions or worried about a thing. Paul's saying, don't worry. Instead, he's like, if you remember, we have to replace that worry. We have to replace that fear with something else. I can't just say stop thinking about it. How many times did you think of a dancing elephant last Sunday, Roxanne?
Too many.
You can't just say stop it. You have to replace it. Okay, if you've ever quit smoking, you can't just stop it. You have to replace it. If you're trying to cut sweets out, you can't just stop it. You have to replace it. And so Paul is saying, yes, stop it. But also, here's what you replace it with. Be saturated in prayer. So when those fears come up, I just immediately address it. I immediately say, Lord, here's my fear. And I have every right to fear this, Lord, because look at what I've got right now. In this moment, it doesn't look like I'm going to have what I need when I'm in my 80s. So, Lord, I need you to start working on something for me. So we be saturated in prayer, offering your faith-filled requests. Not nice little suggestions, faith-filled requests. That means I say it and I have to believe that God can do it. I don't just say like these mamsy-pamsy like, oh Lord, if you can, and then I don't actually believe he will. I have to give my care to him and believe him that he will take care of it. It's a faith-filled request, not a scaredy cat request, not a uncertain request, faith-filled request, believing in what doesn't make sense, faith-filled request. Before God, overflowing in gratitude. I got to thank him for the good stuff, and then his peace comes to me. When I give my fear to him and I trade fear for faith. Faith and fear, like think of a continuum, like hot and cold. Faith is on one side, fear is on the other. The more faithful you are, the further away you get from fear. And the more you doubt God, the closer you get down to the fear side. Faith and fear are two ends of one continuum. We have to have faith. And then when you get down here to this end and you're just believing God, like, I have no idea how it's going to work out, but I'm just going to trust you. Then God's peace that transcends understanding, God's peace that don't make no sense, comes over you. If you can believe, if you can give your care to God and actually believe him for it and have faith in him, like, I don't know how you're going to do this one, God, because it looks impossible. But here you go. He gives you peace when you can do that. That's what he gives you instead. And then we fix our thoughts. We fix our thoughts on the good stuff. We don't let ourselves go back to that fear. We don't let ourselves pick that fear back up. We handed it to God. We don't be like, God, carry this. And then we walk in like, can I have it back? Can I have it back? Can I have it back? He's like, no, I got this fear. I got it. You just walk along. We have to focus on the good. We have to focus on all the times he's come through. We have to focus on the things that are real, honorable, admirable, beautiful, respectful, pure, holy, merciful, kind. Fasten your thoughts on every glorious work of God. Where has he come through? God came through for Mary. He made sure Mary had someone to take care of her. He made sure that he makes sure that we have what we need. The Israelites, if you know that story, they were in the desert and they were starving. He made sure they had food. He made sure their clothes never wore out. Can you imagine camping for 40 years and just the clothes you can carry on your back and your clothes never wear out? I can't even get through a pair of tennis shoes in a year. My tennis shoes wear out. But their shoes never wore out in 40 years. They had what they needed. That's the God that we follow. The God who watches over the sparrows. That's the God that we follow. And when we pray, we have to believe that God comes through. We can't be like, oh, I'm going to offer up a prayer because what else do I have to do? But then I'm going to still worry about it. Jesus says to us in John, the disciple that he put in charge of Mary, he says, most assuredly, I say to you, most assuredly, not, well, maybe I'll tell you this. Or I guess you could think of it this way. He says, most assuredly, stand on this truth. I say to you, he who believes in me and the works I do will do greater works than these because I'm going to the Father. And whatever you ask in my name, I will do it, that the Father be glorified in the Son. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. When we ask things that are in God's nature, now if you ask him to harm someone, he ain't going to do that. But if you ask God something that's in his nature, Lord, take care of my basic needs. Having someone to watch over me when I'm old is a basic need. He's not going to be like, meh. Sorry about you. He's not going to say, I don't care about you. Whatever. It says right here, he says, ask in my name and I will do it so God gets the glory. Anything you need, ask for it. When I was a kid, my mom still believes that you shouldn't ask for things for yourself. That's kind of the way she was raised, and that's kind of the way she raised me. And I have come to understand that I read verses like this, and it doesn't say, ask for anything for other people, and I will do it. It says, ask for anything in my name, and I will do it. He's saying, I love you so much that if there's something you need, I'll take care of you. And I think about, look around our community. Doc doesn't have kids, but he's got George. He's got this awesome nephew and sister who take care of him and get him the care and watch over him. Maybe God will give you a group of friends. I think of shows like The Golden Girls. There are 4 women who were all older, and they took care of each other. They watched over each other. They had each other's backs. When one needed a ride to the hospital, they took them. There was someone to check on them and keep them strong and make them laugh. These 4 women took care of each other. Did they have a normal, typical, live with my family? No. And I think B. Arthur's character had a daughter. The tall woman, wasn't that B. Arthur? She had a daughter, but she wasn't in the show very often. These 4 women took care of each other. Or look at those movies, Grumpy Old Men. Here's these 2 curmudgeons who fight and put dead fish in each other's car. I love that scene. I think that's hilarious because it's not my car. But they watched over each other. Even when they were fighting, they watched over each other. They checked on each other. So just because we don't have, for me, just because I don't yet have kids, doesn't mean there's not going to be anyone to take care of me. There could be other family members. There could be friends. Maybe as we get over, Jill and I were just talking about this. She's like, you know what would be great? Because she hates taking care of her yard. She's like, I hate taking care of my yard. Who ever thought that we should mow our grass twice a week? That is such a waste of my time. She's like, I kind of really want to live in one of those retirement communities, where they take care of all the grass and you've got all these friends and activities planned. She's like, I think I would really like that. I think I would really like to live in a place where I don't have to mow the lawn. And there's someone playing bunco or playing shuffleboard or going for walks or whatever, playing cards all the time. She's like, that kind of sounds awesome to me. So maybe when we're older, when we're in our 70s and 80s, maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll move into one of those retirement homes where we don't have to mow the lawn anymore. And there's always someone planning fun stuff for us to do. That would be awesome. There are ways that God can come through for us. We have to just tell him, Lord, here's my fear. I'm giving it to you. Take it. Give me your peace. I'm going to just trust you. Because who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen in our lives? Like, we don't know. Maybe the world will end and we won't even have to worry about it. I don't know. Like, maybe all the angels will come and Jesus will come and we won't have to worry about it. I don't know. But what I have to put my faith in is that God is good and that God will take care of me. And for those of us in the room who are maybe on the other side of that, who are like, Stephanie, I do not have to worry about this. I've got kids and they're going to take care of me. They better. I put them through college. Okay? For those of us who have the nuclear family, we're not worried about this. It says true spirituality. Oh, you say you're a Christian? Well, James, I'll tell you what, James does not pull punches. James is Jesus' brother, and he's like, oh, you think you're so good? Let me tell you. And he throws something down, he throws the gauntlet down. And he says, oh, you think you're truly spiritual? That is, spirituality is pure in the eyes of God? Well, then you need to make a difference in the lives of orphans and widows in their trouble. He says, oh, you got it good right now? You need to look around. Who in your life is an orphan or a widow? Who in your life needs someone to take care of them? I was talking to one of my students. There's three of his his parents have had 3 kids. He's the oldest of them. They've taken in 5 teenagers. Well, one's like 10. 4 teenagers in their home and are taking care of 4 rambunctious, they're not sweet little angels, teenagers. And I said to him, do you think when you're an adult, you'll be a foster parent? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I think I'll have 1 or 2. I want 1 or 2 of my own, but after that I'll foster. I didn't know if being this, having to share his parents with other people would sour him. He's like, there's so many kids out there who need love. So many kids out there who are in a bad spot. He's like, why should I have 5 kids of my own when I could just have 1 or 2 and I could give a nice home to 3 others? And that's what his parents have done. And his mom feels bad. I had dinner with her a couple weeks ago. She's like, I want to be like Nancy Cleary. She's taken in I don't even know how many kids she's taken in, like 10 or 12. She's had, 3 of her own?
I think it's more than 10 or 12. But yeah,
She's taken in a ton.
Oh, yeah.
She has, 3 of her own?
3, yeah.
3 of her own. And she still has, I think Jamie's the youngest, right? Is Jamie the youngest? Anyways, she's taken in like 10 kids. She's constantly taking in kids. And she takes kids who have had a rough start, which means they need a little extra love. So maybe we need to, I'm not saying, yes, if you feel in your heart to be a foster parent, be a foster parent. But there are ways of taking in widows and orphans besides adopting children. Look around your community. Who in your community needs watching after? Who in your sphere is an orphan or a widow and needs someone to be their friend, to check up on them, to be like, hey, what's happening with you? I haven't seen you. You know what? I haven't seen Sally come out of her house in a couple days, and I usually see her walk her dog. Let me just go over and knock on the door and see how Sally's doing. How can we be those people for the orphans and the widows in our lives? So if you, like me, have battled the Sound of Music fear, as my friend and I call it, give it to God and walk in faith and just trust him. A faith-filled request that God can come through for you in some way, shape, or form. And it might not look conventional. It might not look like you think it's going to look. It might look totally different. But we have to trust that he can do it one way or the other. And if you're not in that fear, then look around and help be part of the solution. Look around for the orphans and widows around you. Who needs checking on? Who needs taken in? Who can you start a bunco group with? Or Thursday night dinners or whatever? Who can you start to become friends with? Who are you going to be living with? Who are your golden girls going to be as you get into your older age? How's that going to look for you? Start thinking about that now and start asking God to point that out to you. So I'm going to leave you with this verse in Isaiah. Isaiah is a guy from the Old Testament, but he was a prophet. So God showed him basically what Jesus was going to be like. He didn't tell him his name or when he was coming, but he's like, this is what the Messiah is going to be like. He says, even to your old age and gray hairs, I am he, meaning God. I am he who will sustain you. God will sustain you. God says, I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and rescue you. God will sustain you. God will rescue you when we give him our faith-filled requests. So each week, I dare you, I double dog dare you, to do 4 tangible things. You can do one of them or you can try all 4 of them. If you really want to get closer to God, if you really want to grow in your faith, then your dare this week is write down the names of 3 people who might be feeling isolated and reach out to at least one of them, call, text, send a card, invite them to lunch. Ask God, God, who have I overlooked and you want me to see? You could read John 19, where Jesus made sure someone would care for his mother, just like he's going to make sure someone's caring for you. And to engage, talk to someone in your church or community who lives alone. Ask them how you can support or encourage them and be a good listener. And all of God's children said, Amen. I don't have to click anything.